Hi, this is Steve Moore, and this character here is SheUn. I've been working on this for a little while now, and this particular piece I'm doing is for a trailer to coincide with the release of SheUn and the Theory of Fuzzy Entanglements, which is a long-winded title, I know, but um, anywho, there you go. So anyway, the way I'm imagining this piece starting is kind of right up on the face here. Excuse me. Yeah, yeah, right there. And then maybe zooming out a bit, you know, whole character on screen. At the same time, a bit of a pan, kind of side to side. So it's an anime style animation. It's just that real simple. And maybe it would be really cool to have some flames coming out the back here, but you know, I can, I can hope. So yeah, and anyway, so I'm looking at this piece, and the thing I realize it occurs to me is that it's got some pretty serious foreshortening going on. The legs and the arms here, and maybe someone would be interested in how I got to that point. From construction lines to this. What was my process? And I thought, it'd be really fun just roll back time and show you, how it got from here to here. So the piece isn't finished, but nonetheless, here we go. Alright, so what I'm doing here is kind of a pretty hacky thing, but I've got the whole video here so I can just like scrub right through from here to the finish. That just makes it easier for me. I can, I already drew everything and I can just let it rip and then, oh, okay, here's a good point to kind of start talking. Alright, so right here, starting with the pelvis, and that's the fulcrum of the body. It's where everything is going to pivot from here, and it's the center of mass, I think, most of the time. Um, so we start there, and yeah, then we find, what I'm doing here, is you've got your pelvis, and then you're finding, where are the feet, and you're connecting the dots. Kind of pelvis, feet, connect the dots. And then this line up the top here, that's the shoulders. Yeah. And then everything. This is the skeleton. So once you've got this, you know, that's some heavy lifting already done, and away we go. And yeah, just kind of connecting the dots here, drawing the stick figure. And here, I love trying to draw faces. I try to draw the outside of the face. I like to really, to be honest, I like to look for shapes. Is what I do a lot. Is I look for the shapes. Um, and here, getting into the foreshortening, um, you can see me doing ellipses to kind of emphasize the form there. But the other thing you'll notice too is, especially this is interesting. You've got the left leg, which is not foreshortened, and the right leg, which is. And you see basically what happens in the foreshortening is the curves get exaggerated. You take those subtle or more subtle S curves and you push them. Same thing here with the arm. And I'm just switching colors here because I'm essentially painting masks, and here I'm just flattening everything and painting over opaquely, and it'll end up being a mask, and I'll drop color back in. But sometimes it's easier to see black and white, and fixing my mistakes here. Just yeah, it's obviously the beauty of a computer. You can scale it, rotate it, um, and maybe it can become a crutch, but it could also help you work a lot faster. And here I'm making up shapes. I in all honesty, I wanted to detail out that handlebar. I wasn't happy with the handlebar, and I thought it needed something a little bit more. I guess I like painting in color because you can on a computer, and you know it like I like reds and warm colors that it just makes me comfortable. Just not so quite so harsh, you know. And I find I used to draw traditionally a lot more, and as I've been working on the computer, I'm finding that I'm painting more. And you know, when I draw, if I use a pencil on paper, it's a little bit different, huh? With the computer, you can switch colors, so you can very easily paint negative shapes, white on black, just as easily as black on white, which is, you know, not an epiphany, but it is if you're coming from a traditional background and all of a sudden you have this freedom just to go, you know, the free, it's amazing, hey, the freedom that you have with that a computer affords you. Um, yeah, here we go with the head, and I start with the shape and then just start carve, you know, basically also. I guess you do, you know, I paint and then sometimes you're carving, sometimes you're a sculptor and sometimes you're a painter. So sometimes you're carving out planes and sometimes you're painting shapes, you know? And um, the unique thing about SheUn here is she doesn't have the same costume. She's not always wearing the same thing. She changes costumes. It's part of her character. She likes to try on different stuff. So that presents a problem because you either have to be really good at being on model, which means just to, you know, that the character is clearly identifiable as that character, like you know it's Snoopy because he's on model. Um, so with SheUn, I have a couple of crutches, tools that I can use on the character. So one is the boots here, which I'm starting to dig into, and then the other is her hair. You know, her hair is supposed to be iconic, and it's a bit 80s. It's got that kind of those high spikes there, which curl, and I have a lot of fun with those curls. I like to, you know, make them do all kinds of crazy shapes. Yeah. So struggling a little bit with the boot, kind of you can see me redrawing it a bit and trying stuff out, um, switching from, you know, black on white to negative shapes there. I love that about the computer. That I just love that, just switching back and forth so easily. Yeah, I struggle with this, but a little bit. I don't, you know, I don't always struggle, but you know, sometimes I get into a corner and you get into a bit of a loop almost where you know I was chasing my tail almost here, just trying to find the shapes. You know, wasn't thinking. You know, sometimes you gotta step back and think. You know, think I had an instructor once said you would, you know, think twice and then draw once, that kind of thing. So trucking away on the boot, and then just now here's where I'm tempted to draw the whole leg, but you know I don't need to. It's I don't even need the toe there, but it really it just helps me visualize things. It's hard to articulate why it one should do that, you know, and you don't have to, but it helps. It just helps to see the whole character. And here, drawing the breasts, lots of fun. And making sure that they hang because of gravity. You know, you've got gravity and she's leaning forward, so they're going to hang down. Um, it's always fun trying to, you know, again, I drew the body, even though you don't need to see all that detail. I'm literally in my mind, I'm projecting that clothing onto that body and just imagining how it would wrap around, and so it's a process, huh? It is mechanical in a way, you know. It's a mechanical process. You can break it down to steps, and then having fun with her dress. I feel like, you know, that has the skirt has a lot of character. You know, I want to I want that to have some personality to it. I'm not quite happy with it right here, but I'm going to come back to it. And then here's the challenge. Now here's the funny thing with that knuckle. You can see I'm doing it kind of maybe more anatomically correct, but then I realize I just don't like the shape, So this might not be exactly accurate for those knuckles, but I like the shape. And I'm bringing back the original thumbnail and cheating here, like the joys of a computer. You can fade stuff in and out, and that's what I'm doing. Almost there. So that's about it for the rough. Exploiting the computer again, layers. What I do, I'm a bit of a layer, I'm addicted to layers, I would say. I use way more than I should, and my colleagues at work get, frustrated with me and all my layers, but um, yeah, I do that, So anyway, I've just about finished here with this rough. So the next thing here is going to be color, and then what I'm imagining is basically, you know, this is going to be the beginning of a whole sequence of SheUn taking off on her bike and racing down the road. But I'm going to try and do it really simply because I can't get carried away here. I can't not I don't have a film production studio, so I have to be modest in my ambitions. But anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll do some more of this in the future.